you're in Lagos, you're in Abuja, you're in Benue State, you are in the diaspora, wherever you are, you're welcome to the Saturday morning show here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the best you can get every Saturday morning across the globe. Trust me on that one. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info, and as always, we bring you the best of programming here on the radio. We kick off, as always, with the Relationship 360 with Pastor Olumide Omosebi, and he comes bearing you great information, great knowledge every Saturday here on the radio. But before I go further, I need to introduce to you somebody special, somebody, a voice that you have to tune on your radio every Saturday morning and get familiar with this voice because it's going to be one you hear, for a very long time. Her name is Wonderful Christian, and as soothing as her voice is, like I say, get familiar with it.
Thank you.
How are you doing? Wonderful.
I'm good. Good morning. I'm good. Yes.
You're good. You're not just greeting me, you're greeting Lagos as
Yes,
well.
good morning. Good morning to you. A beautiful, good Saturday morning to you.
That's wonderful, just like her name says.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can call me Wendy. Wendy is fine. Wonderful Wendy. Anyone that sits here can
Gen
say.
Z, oh, Gen Z.
Which one is Gen Z?
Gen Z.
Wahala.
All right, Lagos. We move on to the programming. We bring you to Relationship 360, and then the discourse with Jimmy Discus comes to you at 9 o'clock. From there to 10 o'clock, where we bring you travel and culture, where we tell you all about the wonderful places across the globe that you should go explore. And then by 11 o'clock, our friends from the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund brings you the portal where we have discussion and SMEs. We come here and we have conversations that really help your businesses and help those of you who are still unemployed to get jobs. And at the end of the day, we wrap it up with some great music. Trust us to bring you great music. Wonderful has brought together a very, very, very great playlist. And we're sure to have you fill you with those great music this morning.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, but we have the man of the moment in the house.
Yes, sir.
Barcelomide is looking, will I say cheerful this morning? I can't place it.
It's the look for me.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Emmanuel. Wonderful.
Morning.
Gabo, welcome to Relationship 360.
Yes.
You've been telling people to get used to. You didn't tell them why.
Do us the honors.
No, I mean, you used to talk.
You see, don't worry, Lagos
yes.
understands.
Okay.
All right. First, good morning. Last week we had quite a conversation, and today we're also looking deeper into more of that same conversation. But today we're taking it a little bit higher, looking at the reasons why people remain in abusive relationship. This is one Lagos and every other person listening to us, every one of you. This is the time you should pay attention because some great revelations are about to be made. And here we hand it over to Barrister Lumide to go forward.
Thank you very much, Simon. First of all, I want to thank everyone for tuning in again this morning to listen to us on Relationship 360. We do not take you for granted. Absolutely. So in 2020, I made public some statistics, and I remember when I gave those statistics, I was criticized so much, especially by religious people. And I now took my campaign of separation and divorce from abusive spouses to the radio stations. And that journey brought a partnership between my organization and Nigeria Info, and I have not stopped since then. But I thank God that people are beginning to listen. And the very religious institutions that criticized me now call me to speak on their pulpit because now even they can see that what I'm saying is the absolute truth, fact, and science of our time. The statistics I brought 2020 was that 1 in every 4 marriages would end in a separation or divorce by the second anniversary. That is the statistic. In Nigeria, 1 in every 3 women would suffer domestic violence or abuse in the first year of their marriage. As early as 2016, 2017, Shija reported that in Nigeria, an average of 300 to 350 women are killed every year by their husbands, former lovers, or male relatives. So Nigeria loses an average of 350 women in 365 days. You could see that by May 2020 to August 2021, DSVA, that is the Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, recorded 10,007 cases of domestic violence and abuse in Lagos State alone, which makes that an average of 27 cases per day. Now, what am I talking about? In 2021, the statistics showed that by 2025, the Christian or simple woman in Nigeria will more likely die from her marriage and its complications than any natural disease or ailment. I mentioned this in 2021. Now we are in 2025. January alone, we had 15 confirmed femicides, that is, the murder of women because of their gender. January alone. This was very unprecedented. I always warn people about March. That is when domestic violence begins to heighten in Nigeria. It just begins to shoot up. But from 2025 that I mentioned in 2021, it began from the first week in January. In January, 4 people set their lovers ablaze, poured petrol on them, and burnt them. The one is still alive and is fighting for her life in Abuja, where her boyfriend poured fuel on her at Jabi Motor Park, not even in the house, publicly in a motor park, in a garage. This is a very serious situation where we begin to bury our daughters, we begin to bury our sons because of the choice of spouse that they made. It has not stopped since January. A flurry of deaths, assaults causing permanent injuries, cutting and maiming of spouses. Just 3 weeks ago, a man cut off the hands of his wife. The others dismembering their girlfriends, one Christian musician and another Muslim cleric, just last week. During this week, I was in a seminar with the Director of Public Prosecutions and representatives of the Police Family Support Units across Lagos State Command, when a flash message came across that a police prosecutor, an ASP, was attacked by his wife, cutting off his genitals, and with the last burst of adrenaline, when he saw he was dying, he went towards her, hit her head with a hard object, smashing her skull in. They both died in their rooms, leaving about 4 children. Some said there are 5 children, but the picture we saw were 4 kids. Now, a video of the 10-year-old son came out about 2 days ago, narrating how his father killed his mother. Do you know how the mother killed the father and how the father killed the mother? Do you know the trauma on the children watching their parents every day fighting, slapping, cursing? Till now, the child will talk, will cry, will keep quiet, and was just explaining to us because people could not understand. The man was a police prosecutor in Ekiti State. How do we keep burying our loved ones? How do children keep watching their parents? Do you know the shock on the face? The first time a child sees a father slap the mother or the mother accuse and attack the father, it is met with shock. But then it continues, and after, the children go used to it. To the extent that research has shown that men who beat their wives are men who grew up watching their mothers being beaten by their father, an intimate partner, or a family member. So that is how we have passed abuse from one generation to the other, simply because we raise children in abusive homes. Statistics have led to the inevitable prediction of more deaths, especially From this year, due to domestic violence and abuse, the mental, emotional, psychological, and medical conditions developed as a result of abuse and violence by the spouses. So you women will no longer live very long, so also the men. Already, almost 70% of the world population above 65 are women. Men are not living longer because men are also victims of domestic violence and abuse. Today, I would like to examine one or two things. Why do people remain and stay in abusive relationships and marriages? I think this year will be like 23 years I've been doing this, and from time I identified 5 major reasons why people stay in abusive marriages. Number 1 is religion. Number 2 is tradition and culture. Number 3 is because they say because of the children. Number 4, because of public opinion, the fear of stigmatization. What will people say? And number 5, because of money. Let me start from the top with tradition / religion. Now, the 2 loudest voices on the planet are the voices of religion and tradition. One, which is tradition, is the voice of the dead trying to control the actions of the living. And the religion, the voice of the living trying to control other men and women, control the way they think, the way they behave, by things we call doctrine. Let me start with tradition. Oxford Dictionary defines tradition as the transmission of customs or beliefs from generation to generation. Merriam-Webster defines it as an inherited, established pattern of thought, action, or behavior. A belief or stories relating to the past that are commonly accepted as historical, though not verifiable. The Cambridge Dictionary describes it as a belief, principle, or way of acting that a people in a particular society or group have continued to follow for a long time. Now, the first thing about tradition is that it cannot be verified because it is what somebody told somebody, and tradition is always in third person. It is never in first or second person, it is always in third person, because what you heard was also told to the person who told you, who was told to the person who told you, and continues like that. So you cannot verify tradition. Now, the ideas, beliefs of people centuries ago, decided by the first settlers in a place or community, these were a result of the prevailing problems and issues at that time. A lot of people did not have solutions for the problems or the issues at that time, so they developed what would become tradition. For example, when there was famine, when the rains failed to fall, people would think that maybe we have offended a deity, the gods, and they would begin with sacrifices to beg that let rain fall. They did not understand what we know today as geography. Traditions are majorly according to location. You will find that settlements close to the water, the tradition of the people would be to worship the deities in the water. Their culture develops as things, their cuisine becomes seafood. Their tradition becomes according to water and the marine worlds. And so also those that live in the forest begin to worship terrestrial gods. Their tradition will be that of the jungle, the forest. Their sacrifices will be towards the forest. Tradition is always influenced by location. So traditions are basically the thoughts and ideas of people that have lived hundreds of years ago, the first settlers of a community, or declaration of the king or leader of the community, and they are always masculine. every tradition favors men than the women. So you should know the first thing about tradition to show you it was made by man is that it favors man. The problem now arises. There are beautiful sides to tradition. For example, the marriage celebration, the cuisine, the culture. Culture is the expression of tradition. Culture is tradition in motion, like the clothes you wear, the Georges, the damask, the adire, those are culture in motion to show the beauty of tradition and culture. But there are some sides to tradition that interferes with your right to choose, with your right to live. They decide who or what you can eat. They decide what you can wear and who you can marry. Now, there comes a time when tradition begins to interfere with your right to choose. Now, tradition basically were the thoughts of those that lived centuries before you that do not know as much as you know now. Because if they knew at that time what you know now, that tradition will not exist. But they did not know. So they formulated. Now, my question is, why is the voice of the dead louder than the voice of the living in tradition? Why would those who do not know as much as you know now start commanding people who know more than they do? So it is more like the wise being led by the foolish. Why would the voice of the dead control and speak louder than the voice of the living? Why would the dead still control your actions? You cannot think because this is how we do it. This is how who is the we? Who are those telling you this is how it is done? For example, look at the killing of twins. They saw two identical people, and the native doctors thought it was one spirit in two different bodies. This is an aberration. How can one spirit exist in two bodies? They decided to kill it. They could not understand that it was just a matter of division of cells. So they started killing until a woman, Mary Slessor, came along. Even there, some would just label children as witches and kill them as a matter of tradition. Samuel Otasi of Agabobiri community poisoned his three children, 14, 12, and 10. He said they were wizards in Akwa Ibom, in Cross River. A case I handled about 2 years ago, a man claimed that his wife cheated and drove the wife out of the house. She started living in her shop until one day she realized that, she was the one paying the rent of the house. So she moved back to the house and told the man to leave because she was the one paying the rent. It was an argument, fight. Eventually, he left and took the two children and left. She hadn't seen her children for such a long time. She was looking, she was crying, and someone who was partners with me said, please help this woman. So I wrote the petition and they were called. The man was called. He came along with his own father. That is, the husband came with his own father. Found out that even the man could not raise the children, so he gave the children to a third party. So the children they were not with the mother, they were not with the father. They were with someone else who was now a Muslim, and the children were now attending an Islamic school, Christian children. So we're told, okay, go bring the children. That was when the father now spoke. That this woman was caught in adultery, and according to the laws of their own tradition, if the children eat her food, the children would die. If the children see her before sundown or something like that, they would die. So do we want to kill the children? I did not understand because it was coming from an elderly man. I said, so if the children see their mother now, he said they will start falling sick. And then if she feeds them, if they eat her food, they will die because she cheated. That is their tradition. Do you know? So based on my presence and maybe the way I talk, The officer in charge said, okay, make them go bring the children first. But the policemen started being afraid. So they scheduled the following day, and I made sure they brought those children. Oh, I know what I did. When the children came into the police station, the elderly man jumped and started screaming, "I won't kill these children. If they see the mother, they will die." See the policemen running helter-skelter because an elderly man started shouting. And I said, okay, so when will this tradition now allow them eventually? He said, because they are young. He said they cannot see her forever till she dies. I said, which tradition is that? Today, we will test your tradition, sir. I went and I took the children and I brought them. All of us stood round. The old man was shouting, "Hey, they have killed," the policeman. The OC now came to me that, please, they don't want any issues in this. I know their tradition. I didn't tell you they are my people. Officer in charge was now like, they come from they are neighbors. And that it is true. I waited. Is it time?
Yes, yes,
okay.
Of course it is time. But Lagos, we're still here. We're still having this conversation. We're just going on a very short break, and we will be right back. We still have Barrister Olumide Omoshebi here and giving us all the information. We have wonderful Christian in the building. She's also here joining the conversation. And Lagos, stay here on 99.3 Nigerian Info. We'll be back shortly.
Info, we'll be right back.
Hello, excuse me. This meal pack looks different. I'm seeing supports energy release. Bam, on the pack. Is it the same meal? No, this one is new and improved. The supports energy release means
This
when
is
you
tradition. He's dealing with them one after the other. So when
You
you
can't
take
deal with 5
I like this one.
You have to take them piece by piece
because people will still call it.
and give their contribution. So what is best is that you take them little by little so you can carry everybody along.
Let someone shout hallelujah.
You sounded like me.
I sounded like Papa
I
now.
was not like,
When I became 22nd February 2025, venue Tafawa Balewa Square, Lagos. At 8 a.m., the program begins with the prayer conference, feast of worship, an atmosphere of pure praise at 2 p.m. Crusade at 4:30 p.m. Ministry Pastor Paul Eneche,
But you will not
Pastor
believe the
Isaac
policemen.
Oyedepo, Pastor Michael
Number one thing they will always do is run away from trouble.
Pastor J.T. Kalejai, Pastor J.F. Odeshola, Pastor Yemi David, Bishop S.T.V. Adenite, and of course our Father in the Lord, Pastor E.A. Adeboye. Music
You know that these traditions, because of the fetishism, it's sometimes real.
and Kola Jai, free buses and major bus stops across Lagos from 11 a.m. It is time to light up Lagos with the glory of God. See you there. Let someone shout hallelujah.
On Monday at 4 p.m., Chukwemeka David Obiamaisiwa against Michael Victor Chinechere to debate the topic, increase in telecom tariff is unreasonable at this time. And at 5 p.m., Ifeoluwa Olaiya will file out against Wago Olachi
And
Vanessa.
you start saying your position.
Words on the topic, single-use plastics
Of
should
course.
not
Now tell you
go on.
something, and now go
I
and
beg to differ.
Did
The
doing
sharpest
it
minds,
exactly.
the strongest voices, and the boldest thinkers only will survive this round.
That is why when all these things, so it is because of this expose that is what is really making people understand it now. That these people work things behind the scene. If not, they just believe that it's all these voodoo things are real and anything work is happening.
This show is headlined by John Legend with performances by Nigeria's own Simi and DJ Consequence. Tickets are limited. Don't miss out. Purchase your ticket now at moveafrica.org. That's Africa with a K. Move Africa, February 25th at the Palms. Be there.
That's what you do for customary court.
Customary court is not there. It's not a job.
President.
President, yeah.
So it's not a judge. Just a court president. No. We want to include them in the Oh, for that matter, no. The family rests now. because that thing has proved everything. My brother has already gone to
Three
weekend
great
just like
seasons,
yours.
the fans have fought
They don't have
with
any
passion
issue.
and
Look,
fire,
I'm
their
handling
best
the
they
case,
brought.
and the case was
The banter was
because
bold,
the
the
woman,
debates were
they
tight,
run
each
a
word a
school.
weapon, each match a fight.
When
But
that
now it's bigger,
accusation
the
came,
stakes much
instead
higher,
of
the
them to
battle
call
returns
the
and it's
police,
full of fire.
when you're accused of
And Battle
that,
4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is
my
set.
daughter came
In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Step right up. It's time for more. Register now and take your stand. Your time to shine is now at hand.
Registration is ongoing on www.nigeriainfo.fm.
And Battle 4.
The husband of
The
Donald
battle
had been in
begins.
prison. Nobody wants to hear that. You define the child, you kill the person.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, it goes without saying that
So you have to- they
every
don't take
day
things like that
is a day to
to
win.
because
Yes,
in future,
every
you
day
just
you
hear
can
it.
possibly call
So
yourself
if
a
they
winner.
go
Why? Well,
make
it
that
is
police
because
statement
over
to show
200,000
his
naira
innocence.
is being given away on Nigeria Info
You couldn't take
every
them
day.
because
All
you
you
didn't
have
want
to do is go to the
fan
website at
the whole thing. He just went on
www.onepay.ng
his own.
or dial the
Yes.
code
Go and make
star
them.
347 star 880 star 3
Well, now
hash.
they will call
Now,
them
dialing
now.
that
These
code
people
from
to-
your phone will cost
They are
you
meant to
500
call
naira.
them.
And
Yes,
of course, clicking on the Nigeria Info button when you get
you
to the
make any
website at
accusation,
www.oneplay.ng will cost you 500
has
naira.
to be
Yes,
there.
you can play as
If
many times
they
as possible.
accuse
You can play as
and
many
you're not
times as
found
10. You can play as little
innocent,
as
then you
one. The
tell
more you
them
play,
that
the better
accuse
your
you because
chances
you are
of
started in
winning
this
every
police
day
station. They must
on
come
every
to
show.
write.
Literally
And that
every
very police
And
show.
that police
Yes, we're
station
talking about
that
Morning
it is-
Crossfire,
it is,
What's Up Lagos, Game
on further
on
investigation,
weekdays,
they
and of
found
course,
that
Football Frenzy
allegation was
on
false, and they
weekends.
retract.
That is not all. Every
There's no
Friday,
retract
there
with
will
it. That's
be
the
another
Let
500
your brother not.
jackpot, all for you to win. And to qualify for
Yeah,
that, all you have to do
I
is
don't
make
even
sure
know.
you
I
have
told him not
played
to
the
play
game
games because
throughout the
the
week.
first question
Yes,
I asked you
dialing
the other
star
day, I said,
347
"Come,
star
when you were
880
marrying this
star
girl
3
again,
hash
did her
will
mother at
literally
any point
qualify
in
you
time?
for two
Because her mom is
opportunities
the girl's
at
mom is the one
cracking
instigating this.
this
Yes,
code.
no.
Yes,
Then he
ladies and
should
I
know.
said,
gentlemen,
did
make
she
sure you
ever
are
say
doing the thing.
she
Go to the
doesn't want
website
to
at
marry her
www.oneplay.ng or dial the code star 347 star
They will
880 star
insinuate
3
it, but when
hash.
they
Make sure
see
you're
that
above the
their
age of 18
daughter
while playing and
is
no
play
agree,
responsibly.
say,
As you
no,
play
that
with
person
only
I
what
won't
you can
marry.
afford to part with.
They will
One
keep
Play is a
quiet.
registered trademark
But
under
the
Lasher Trading
husband will
Services
say,
Limited, licensed by the
when?
Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission. Make sure you are playing and make sure you are winning. And when you
Okay,
win, send your tithe.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Can you do it?
We're back.
Can you do it?
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Can you do it? Watch. Next one, you do it. Lagos, we're back. We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And of course, this is Relationship 360 with Emmanuel Onwuka, wonderful Christian, and Barrister Lumide Omosebi, who is here and was giving us a very, very intriguing story about an encounter he had at the police station as a result of tradition. Barrister.
Yeah, so where did I stop?
You stopped at they bringing the children to the police station and then the policemen running heter-skelter
Oh,
because of the old
the
man's
father
right.
of the husband now started shouting that they have killed them. I started ruling that when you are supposed to be protecting people, the policemen were confounded. They were very afraid. But I took up courage because I know that was a lie.
Mm.
And I went, while they were still saying, make them not see them. The OC came, the OC was a woman and said, Barrister Olumide, I know that, but these people, I know them, they are my people. This, that. I said, so a woman will not see her children till she dies? That this one, the law will not even. I went, grabbed the two children and brought them. And as they saw the mother, they even ran, left me behind and jumped on the mother. I now started. I said, Baba, if these people don't die, if these children don't die today, I will turn this case against you. You will go to prison. What kind of manipulation is this? That you will dislodge an entire family, take children and go and keep in a place, change their religion, prevent the mother from saying, you say she will not see them till she dies? And what was the adultery? They saw text message.
Text message.
Text message of someone who liked the wife.
Oh my God.
That was the adultery. Not only that, they said that the woman cannot feed them. I bought gala. I gave the woman to give the children to eat and cook because we were at the police station for a long time. They collected. When they collected, the Baba removed his cap as if to wave. I said, Baba, if you say anything, as if whether I wanted to repeat or recite an incantation or something. I said, Baba, because I now sat with Baba. Because I know that this is what they do. They will tell you this and then they will perform it. By nature, it would not happen. But they will go against the course of nature to make it happen so that they will tell you this is what they said and this is what has happened.
And that is why there's been so much fear when it comes to people and tradition. Because they've seen these stories, they've heard these things, they've heard about voodoo, about juju.
Emmanuel, tradition works only for those that believe in it. Let me tell you, that is just one. There was a woman who came to me, this was like 4 years ago when I started here. That was 2020 or 2021. Herself and her husband had not been intimate for 14 years because the marriage had broken down irretrievably. The man had cheated once upon a time, but now he was no longer able to perform because he had some form of erectile dysfunction. And with the adultery, the woman had had enough and said she wanted to go. But they say that there is a right that the man must perform to release her to go and be with somebody else, without that, if she goes to be with another man, her children will start dying. So she stayed because she didn't want her children to die. She had been there for 14 years, and the man selfishly refused to do that right that will release her. And I told the woman that you have 14 years to waste. He said that she knows what she's doing, that she has taken her mind away from that let her children go. So you believe that if you leave a man that has already, there is no marriage between both of you, if you leave and be with somebody else, all your children will die. I said, okay. 14 years. She did not leave. I don't even know what has become of that because they say that if you go with another. But the man went with other women and the children are alive. I'm telling you that tradition has always been to the favor of man. If the woman cheats, the children start dying. But what if the man cheats?
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. And then these women will follow men who are under that tradition or culture. Let me rephrase so that I don't attack anybody personally. In fact, I don't really care. I wonder the tradition that kills its own children. I wonder the culture that sees to the systemic killing, annihilation of the youths, its own children. Never enter the home where the dead controls the actions of the living. Never enter that home. Before you say I do to anybody, watch where and who they are, where they are from, and if their decisions are made by dead people, called tradition. If their decisions, their ideas are always an offshoot of consultations from the dead, or are ruled by customs and traditions of the dead, which means the dead controls them, do not enter. If you enter, I told you last year, because I knew that 2025 was going to be bloody, and that a lot of women do not listen. Last year, a man beat the woman, black and blue. He had even left the house. He would beat her from inside outside, that the neighbors now started videoing. So there were various videos of the man stripping and beating her outside in the compound. I saw the pictures of the woman before and after marriage. Oh my God, she looked old. When you see her, she had been used, and so she came to me because she had nothing. She had borrowed the man money. There was no upkeep, nothing. When I saw the videos of the beating, I said, oh God. We mobilized the police. They went on a search. Eventually, they found him. They brought him to prosecute him. The woman, they started begging. This woman now called me and said, Pastor Olumide, God told me that I should tell you to stop the prosecution. And I told this woman that please go and check yourself. It's not that when we start, because I don't collect money. We use our own money. And we don't have money. So you would know that if it was that we had a sponsor, we had that there's money, you can, but it is not easy to do what we do. It costs money. And when the matter started, she didn't even tell me. She went to tell the IPO. The IPO, when I said, okay, when are we going to court? He said, your client never tell you. I said, tell me waiting. Maybe you need to talk to her. I said, tell me waiting. He said, God, tell them, say, make it stop now. Say, make them tell me, say, make it stop. I said, God, which God? The God, which? I just called her. So she said, then can I come and see you? But when they came, she said she was praying and she heard it. So in essence, God now supports domestic violence and abuse. That is the God that they serve. Tradition and religion are the worst phenomenons to ever happen to mankind. Tradition is the dead controlling the living, and religion is the living trying to control the decisions and actions and thoughts of other men by doctrine. Christ did not bring a religion. In fact, he spoke against the existing religions of the Pharisees, Sadducees, chief priests, scribes. But religion has gripped people. This is 7:40. Let me use 5 minutes to talk about. This is the first reason why some people remain in abusive marriages. Tradition and culture. The second is children. Now, I just told you of an ASP who both himself and the wife are no longer alive. They killed each other. And we have a 10-year-old boy narrating the story of how the video is out, and it is, the boy could not even compose. He said they were playing. That, they said we should go into our rooms, that they were gisting, that they said, go, Jare, and he would stop. But he didn't understand. They entered their rooms, they locked it, and next thing they started hearing shouts. They banged on the door. That demon, he went to wake up the other children. These children are the reason you are remaining, the children that you are traumatizing with your abuse. Now, this is the issue. We know, and I have said it, that children who are abusive came from abusive homes. It all starts from the home. When you beat your spouses in front of the children, when they grow up, they have increased propensity for abuse. Even in schools, you can tell those children who are from abusive homes from their character. And I was telling my son, there was a particular boy that was, I said, this boy's father beats his mother. You would know. From the way the boy was behaving. Look at in schools now, boys beating girls. When did that start? In our own time, we used to toast girls. We didn't beat them. Now you see one small boy, I will stop, grab the cloth of who is teaching them? Because that is a reflection of their homes. And then you say, because of children, you are going to remain again. Are you not supposed to save the lives of your children by taking them away from abuse? In developed countries, the first thing they take when there is domestic violence in any home, the government takes the children away because they have realized that these children will become a problem in future if they are not rehabilitated, if they are not reprogrammed. The first thing is once abuse starts, reproduction must stop. Once abuse starts, reproduction must stop. You cannot keep reproducing your abuser. You cannot keep bringing children into abusive homes. But this is the nature of abusers. They are aggressive reproductionists. Why? Because to keep you in abuse, they know the more the number of children, the less likely the woman would leave. Why? It is easier to live with one child, harder to live with two, even more difficult to live with three. Then you now see people, 5 children in 6 years. I would tell you categorically that that is an abusive marriage. And I will be 95% right. When you look at their income, you would know that they struggle to raise those 5 children. It wasn't a matter of income, it was a matter of isolation. Because they know the more the number of children, look at it. Each time they come, my husband is big. How many children do you have? 4, 5, 6, 7. Why? Because the more the number of children, the more difficult it is for you to live. So they, while beating you, they would strip you naked and sleep with you at the same time while you are still crying. That is when some people are so demented that is what turns them on. You get pregnant again. While you are breastfeeding, you are pregnant again. Why? Because it is to make it more difficult for you to live. Once abuse starts, reproduction must stop and you must leave. Why? Because you are training your children how to. Can you imagine, after being beaten in a marriage for 40 years, you now have children where you are supposed to be resting in your old age? You are your children's spouses are calling you, "Mommy, he has started again, no, Daddy, your daughter has started again, no, tearing my clothes, doing this, doing that." When you are supposed to be reaping the fruits of your labor, you are going to settle fights. Why? Because you raised terrorists. You taught them that it is acceptable to curse, to abuse. You see some children from that young age, when they start, you're stupid. You look at the one that used the Yoruba word for prostitute. I don't know if I'm on radio. Okay, prostitute in Yoruba. You are calling. If I can say prostitute in English, why can't I say prostitute in Yoruba?
Leave it the way it is. Thank you very much.
So,
but the thing is this, I'd like to ask you this, because one of the things that people try to do whenever they're in an abusive relationship, especially the women, they try to avoid instigating any type of quarrel, especially when the man is very, very abusive. And you see, when the man requests to sleep with his wife, if the woman should in any way deny him, it goes.
You see, the power, this is the problem. Your reaction to the first abuse will determine if there would be a next abuse. So he slaps you. If the first time he slaps you, you return with 3 or 4 slaps, he won't slap you again.
Somebody that is
now listen, because that is the first abuse. Your reaction to it will determine. Some people, that is the end. You touch them, that is the end. But you remain, which makes you subservient to abuse. How can somebody, you say no, and then he says yes, he must sleep with you because he has been doing it and getting away with it. Let me tell you something. A lady, I mentioned this here last year. It was just 3 months in marriage. She was trying to be, there was a slight argument, and in 3 years of marriage, 3 months, the man gave her 2 hot slaps and went to work. She didn't believe. She just stood right there. Like, she wasn't sure. Did he slap me or did he not slap? It was like,
She wasn't expecting.
So she picked up the phone and called her friend and said, come. He just slapped me. She was just like, what did I do? The man said he told her something and she did not obey. And she was just trying to stand in front of him that, listen, let us, say, move, get out of my way. Get out, just gave her a hot slap. When next I talk to you? And she was like, you slapped me. Gave her the second one, quick succession. The lady now called her friend. Her friend now said, Nick Bobopo, that one had listened to Relationship 360. Now said, where is she? She came to the house, dragged her like that to my office. So when I saw a woman barely dressed, because her friend said, don't even just wear slippers, carried that to my office. That barrister, this, that. And she was still startled that 3 months of, she was just startled. I said, where does he work? Worked in a financial institution. I said they should borrow her a top and a shirt, that she should go there and reply the slaps in front of his staff. Oh, yes. I said, does she want to remain in the marriage? She said it is too early to leave. That in her, I said, okay, your reaction to this will determine. And she went. She couldn't. Eventually, her friend was there. That I just know that whatever this man tells you, just do. And she went into the office. When she had got into the office, saw him. What now annoyed her is when he saw her, this scowl, like, what are you doing here? What are you doing in front of the colleagues? And she said, is this how you will talk to me? She just gave in. Don't ever slap me again in your life. She walked out. She ran down the staircase. She said she thought she heard footsteps. So she ran down the staircase, came to my office. It's not that I'm encouraging violence, but I'm telling you that your reaction to the first, that night, he came with the father. They all prostrated for her, that she shouldn't leave, because he didn't believe that this would happen. I am not telling you, listen, you will go and slap a man now and the man will die in your hands. You will go to prison for murder. I am not telling you that you should return abuse. I am telling you to leave abuse. I am telling you to leave abuse. 2nd of January, or was it 1st of January, 2022, was the time a man gave the wife a slap for the first time. She died. She was standing by the door, preventing him. And he said that's what she does. She would just, when he wants to go, she would just say, no, you can't go. They have to settle this. They have to settle that. And he had been telling her, leave the door. She would stand at the door. That day, he counted the 3. He said, Majoelojo, that is, I will do something you won't expect to. 1, 2, he just slapped her. 3, but there was a bolt at the edge of the door. And as he slapped her, her head went straight for the bolt that penetrated her temple. She slumped. Who would expect that a slap would kill somebody? But then I saw that people have died from slaps. So don't even try to raise your hand and slap. What I am just telling you is that your reaction to the first abuse would determine if there would be another abuse. Once you see abuse, there is no negotiation with abuse. There is no prayer point for abuse. And I know he's violent. We are praying about it. Look at them. They all died last year. You know how many pastors we buried last year? 6. Remember, one committed suicide on my father's birthday, 31st of May.
Yes.
In Ikorodu there. It was my case. You don't pray you see a lion, you kneel down and start praying. Or you start saying, begone, you run. The Bible tells you to flee from all appearances of evil, whichever way it is. But the first abuse will determine a lot. Some people would say, forgive him, he will not do it. Remember, you don't have a second opportunity to create a first impression. Once abuse starts and it is tolerated, it will continue. You leave. You can't even touch me. Me, I don't have power like all of you. That they will be beating you because you wake up, you start developing, you know, Mrs. Gift's mother that we sponsored to go and do an operation that the husband broke her spinal cord. She wasn't working. She was crawling for 2 years. The man put her inside the house after beating and breaking her spinal cord. When they now wanted to carry out the surgery, they just saw that her heart started palpitating. They had to stop. She said, do you have a heart condition? She said, yes. They called me that they can't do this surgery. I said, why? She said she has a heart condition. And I called her that, what is, you didn't tell me that. She said, I said, were you born with it? She said, no. How did you get it? She said, whenever her husband comes home and she just hears the door open, her heart will just start pumping, and that's where she developed anxiety attacks, panic attacks. Simple and Christian women, 2027, 2025 might just be your year. You might just be one of our statistics that other people would learn from. Choose to remain at your own peril. I gave you 5 reasons why people remain in abuse. 1, tradition. I'm still coming to religion. 2, they say because of the children. Meanwhile, it is because of the children you should leave, not stay. Because you have ended up traumatizing the children and now making them future abusers. You will see if they have 5 children, at least 2 or 3 of them will start becoming wife beaters. Some of them will be so traumatized that they would find it difficult to be in a relationship. They just say, so if this is what marriage is, I will never marry. Let me drop the mic here.
Yes, Lagos, we'll be going shortly on the break. Very shortly, we'll be going on the break. But we'll open up the phone lines in just a bit so we can take your calls. Number to call 0201 465 7190. 0201 465 7190. And the WhatsApp number is 080 959 75805. 080 959 75805. Remember that you can also contact us. We're still live on YouTube at Nigeria Info FM and on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. You can also call us via Skype in case you listen to us from the diaspora and you want to be part of the conversation. Our Skype is Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info FM. You can call us on Skype. Lagos, we're going on a very short break right now. We'll be right back and start taking your thoughts on the show. Stay here.
One station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
My kids love
So,
tasty snacks, but many snacks
immediately
are
you
not
go
so good for them. That's why I
Wait.
love the new Milo
Mike.
Anna snacks.
Bro,
Yes, it's a delicious snack with the goodness
Okay.
of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger grown maize, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Call your guests.
So, pack Milo and snacks in your lunchbox every day to help your kids refuel at break time and keep winning
that
the whole
thing
day.
puts
Milo, energy to go further.
this Arise guy in trouble. Mike was not trouble. He now said something.
bóyá ò ń sáré láti lọ wọ ọkọ̀ àbí òjò ní ìgbéyàwó ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ̀ Nivea dry ò ní tẹ̀yìn lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ ó ti wà báyìí nínú ike kékeré 25 ml fún àwọn ọkùnrin àti obìnrin tó lajú.
In so much trouble because he thought the microphone was off.
I got identifying what you just want to
Very
say.
crazy. And when you like to talk, you have very
because you want 20K.
that you just your colleague and you have very, very bad conversation. You can even just take it
Well done, you won yourself
I guess I've left to do the job.
With 500 naira, you can play to win big. From 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily. On Nigeria Info, go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira.
Remember,
In a few seconds, your ticket is in a draw. Or dial
What's
star
laid
347
out?
star 880 star 3 hash. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Wine Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunnyside. And 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial star 347 star 880 star 3 hash. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
Pocari Sweat. My iron's bliss, can't get enough. My iron's bliss, give it to me now, now. Pocari Sweat, it gon' rehydrate till you get replenish your iron. Pocari Sweat, rehydrate too fast and easily observe. Pocari Sweat, give it to more. Pocari Sweat. I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop and is it to stop? It's just come alive, so much taste. Sonia tomato mix, of course. Sonia tomato mix, yes sir. Sonia tomato mix, stand up.
Sonia Tomato Mix in the new stand-up pouch.
How many minutes left?
Mr. Teacher, this what happens when children come to school. How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, man. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, torn uniforms, and dirty shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Mellow at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Mellow, energy to go further.
Welcome back to your number one talk news and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Your eyes pierce into.
You know, funny enough, somebody said something just some days ago. I had on my way home. I had a little. Somebody hit me, and they were talking to me. I did not respond. Guess what they said? You are condescending. But now they shout for me. 3 people against 1. I did not respond. You say I'm condescending. Are you good now? Are you sure?
Okay, beautiful morning to you. It's still relationship 360 with famous Barrister Moody. So we have been discussing reasons why people stay in abusive marriages. And Barrister Moody has been giving us amazing 5 reasons. So Barrister Moody, would you like to continue?
No, I think I would allow.
You are famous now.
I had to look up. I had to look up that.
You're famous.
Well, Lagos, we're still here and we're about to take your calls and we're about to read your messages. Some of you.
On the that sounds like this.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Back with your number one station for
Some of the
talk.
And we'll be glad you did.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's just the top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock exactly, and that would be our cue to start taking your calls and your messages. We already have a ton of them. Remember, you can call us 0201-465-7190, 0201-465-7190, and you can send us WhatsApp messages 080-959-75805. And you can also call us via Skype for those of you in the diaspora who love to join this conversation. Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info FM is our username on Skype. You can find us and call us via Skype. And we're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM, and on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Lagos, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, go ahead, Mr. Peter.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Now, this program, I'm a first time calling all out.
Hey, congratulations. Where is the Shakira of life?
About 20 years or above. But what I want to let the public know is that I wouldn't been in marriage because I saw people beating their wives and I was scared of going to marry. But the only thing I know is that marriage is not easy as people may think. I'm advising anyone who cannot marry, who cannot live with a different partner and never partner with, the person should not go. Instead of going to die in a marriage and the excuse will be given. I never beat my wife for one day, but today.
Okay.
So yours is do me, I do you, God no go vex. Eh? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Did they say your ministry? Pastor Olumide, famous pastor. Lagosians will save me. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. No, we just heard ourselves talking back at us.
Wow. Richard, good morning. Go ahead, please. Wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much for joining us, Richard.
Separated based on her domestic abuse. Now she ran away with the children and went to her own parents' house, but she is from an abusive family. So her father is not alive, but her mother and her siblings are all abusive. So the reason for the man leaving the marriage was because, just as your advice, because I've been listening to you over a period of time, so that the children will not grow up in an abusive home, since the woman is very abusive. And I didn't want to have any, I've not beaten her before, I've not done anything. So in that kind of situation now, that she has taken the children to...
Okay, what do you, just tell me what you want. So what should you do? What do you think you should do, sir? If you've been listening to me. It took me 2 years and 6 months to get my son. It took me 2 years and 6 months and 4 lawyers to get my son. So what is the alternative? To leave them there and not fight at all? You go ahead and you see what helps. I tell people to always document abuse. Go and report at the station. So now that she has left, you can go to court and bring a police report to show that this woman is abusive. Instead of going to court, she beat me. There's no proof because you never reported at the police. Did you ever report at the police station? So you reported at the police station, sir. So your case should be very easy then. So why are you complaining? It will take time. It will take time. Listen, one magistrate could be sitting on 2,000 cases before your case came to make it 2001. So don't think that they too, the judges are busy. At times I pity them. It's not only your case now. There are about 2,000, one magistrate could have 2,000 cases, and every single day a new case is coming. So they have to find time. They have to find time. So you will just endure with the process. We don't have enough judges. This is over 1 minute, sir. This is like, yes, please. It will not take 5 years. Sir, it will not take 5 years. It will not take 3 to just go to court. It will not take that long. You have a lawyer now, Abi. You have a lawyer. You have a lawyer. Make sure your lawyer is good.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Go and get your children. Oh.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back. Yes, today is for everybody. Thank you very much for allowing them. You be my oga. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm very okay that the truth came out at last, and the man's name was. So it is well. No, they.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes.
You have less than 30 seconds.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, when you call, you just have 1 minute. Okay, there are lots of calls that we have to take. There are lots of persons who are reaching out. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, is this your first time calling on the show? Oh, thank you so much for calling. Go ahead. You have 1 minute.
My family police officer. I have been in a very toxic relationship that at some point, my wife locked me inside my room, I broke the door and came out. I met her in front of me with a very sharp cutlass. And from that day, that hasn't been the first time of her doing that. It has been on several occasions. She doesn't buy to my ideas, she doesn't buy to my programs, or my business, she doesn't support me for anything, but she needs money at all times. So this last year I took it, I said, come, I'm not going to continue with it, because if I do this, one day there will be blood. I told her to leave my house. But because of the children, she's still in my house anyway, but we don't have anything to do for over a year now. She's just there, I give money for food, I do every other thing, but sex, talking as husband and wife, no more. So please, every person out there, whether you are a woman or you are a man, don't wait for this to happen and happen. One day it becomes so bloody. Thank you.
I don't know how you do that too. Both of you are in the same house with the children, and the children watch both of you not talk. You are not separated. You are not together. In what state of confusion is that? I think, is it your personal house? So you are the one paying the rent. You know you can decide to leave the house with your children. Yeah, that's what happens when you live in abuse. What the abuser always turns the hearts of the children against the victim. It always happens right under.
I'm guessing he's probably not always around,
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Now, this is what I tell people. Thank you for sharing, sir. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's not easy for men to talk, especially as victims.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Now, men, at the end of time, men always are victims when their children grow older, because they will now start complaining to me that their children are taking care of the wife and not taking care of them. Why? Because the wife has turned the heart of the children against their fathers. For abusive men, I don't even consider. I tell them, so you thought your children were not watching when you were beating their mother? But on the other hand, for diligent fathers, you must spend time. That is why I warn you not to be too busy with religious activities or other activities that deny you time with your children. Your children must see who you are. Men, it is your duty to train the children and not the duty of your wife. So for men that leave training to the anyway, we'll come and talk about that later.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ẹ Hey, Madam Mercy. Hey. Oh, thank you, ma'am.
This your kingdom, God will keep you for us. More strength for you.
Amen. Amen. Oh. Amen. 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 Hmm.
Hallelujah.
All right. Thank you very
Madam
much.
Mercy is always a relief.
Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Yes. What's in the regular?
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Ah. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Continue to wait in that house. He has what it takes to look for an apartment and live. Not in as much as you discover that this woman has the propensity of carrying weapon at the slightest argument. You don't need to wait until he gets your hand. Leave so that you don't die on the course. Emmanuel, I came to the studio yesterday to pick the gift item Mrs. Obolu.
Don't worry. Don't worry. When we get to that show, we will handle it there. Thank you very much. Mm. God bless you too. And we are proud as Nigerian food that we are able to, make you happy. Thank you for always being a caller. Thank you for winning on travel and culture. Thank you so much. And thank Madam Oboli too. All right. God bless you too. For those of you who are wondering where he won it on Travel and Culture, which is a show that starts by 10 a.m. on this very dial, where we talk about vacation and transportation and staycation and holidaying. So let's not stray away from the topic for today. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Rita, go ahead.
Yes. Yes.
Tradition like twice. So I was now waiting to see the repercussion that they wanted to happen. Up till now, I have not seen it. Because it was when my late mom died, they told me the rituals. My husband have to provide some rituals for my late mom. And you know what? When my mom died, if they say they have tradition, they have the right to bury my mom in her father's house because that's where she was treating herself. So now they want to collect this tradition. They asked me to bring it to my father's house. I told them I don't bring anything. Because if you feel you respect my mom, you can't bury my mom in her own father's house. So why do you want to collect things from my husband from your tradition, saying it is from my father's house I will pay? I refuse not to give them anything. And I went to my uncle, I did everything with my uncle. And my other uncles, I told me that is the right thing I did, that forget tradition. What tradition? So I told them I have disobeyed, grandfather, I have disobeyed your tradition, whatsoever that wants to happen, let it happen.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Obey wisdom. I think they say it is profitable to direct.
Yes,
They say
yes. Wisdom is
the,
profitable.
is the principal thing.
Yes.
Now you're getting understanding. It tells you my people are destroyed for lack of
Knowledge.
Thank you.
All right, let's continue taking your calls. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, sir. This is relationship 360. Please tell them, not this one is my own program here. Tell Emmanuel, contact him afterwards. Don't be sending me to Joyce.
All right, so let's take some of your messages.
Yes. So Tyrell from Maryland says, my 14-month marriage was the soonest because both of us, yes.
Come, start again.
He says, my 14-month marriage must end soonest because both of us have issues to the extent she challenges me to fight. But I see to it that I do not lay my hands on her because I know I'll go to jail. Or something.
How did you get married in the first? She challenges. Oh
Yes, she's the
yeah,
one.
Bosita.
Hey.
And you said I do. Please leave. Oh.
14 more.
14 months.
Yes.
Did you see the statistic I read? That 2 years is a marriage span. 1 in every 4. Move on.
Well, another person says he wants to be kept anonymous. He said he got married 16 years ago, but his wife doesn't satisfy him sexually. So apparently,
not just satisfy him sexually. He says denial.
Yes, denying him of sex too. So he got involved with a friend, but the friend did not give him sex. But his wife later got to know about it, and each time they have issues, she would always dig up the past. And there was a particular time they almost went violent. So he's begging that what can he do in this type of situation?
What does he want? He is not satisfied sexually. He went out. Don't you think he will go out again?
He will.
When there is no happiness there, a lot of these marital issues have sexual lack of sex, denial of sex, or the sex is this or the sex is that. And unfortunately, people don't think this is a topic they ought to discuss because they say, oh, no sex before marriage, and then sex becomes the problem in marriage. I'm not telling you to have sex before marriage. I'm not telling you to have sex. But if it is such a problem, don't you think it should be such a discussion? I wish you all the best.
Well, Ben from Plato says religion is a subset of culture and tradition. Like some religions and culture have been biased against women one way or the other. He said in Islam, a woman can't initiate divorce by herself no matter what. In the Bible, Deuteronomy 22 verse 28 to 29, a woman who is a victim of rape is made to marry the rapist. Never enter a relationship with a religious
Except
person. Yes.
the father can prevent. You should read that Deuteronomy properly. It's the father who determines if the father says she should marry or not.
Okay, I have this message here, and it says, is it proper for a widower who remarries to still be posting pictures of his late wife on social media almost every time?
Late wife?
Yes, as this isn't going down well with the new wife. She sees it as disrespectful on her own part and not happy with it.
You should have known before you remarry. If someone is hung up on their past relationship or on their late spouse, there will be a problem. You post so much pictures of the dead that you forget the living. It will be a problem.
Before we go on the break, we have here from YouTube, we have Esther Boli sending us a message here. Bondage since yesteryears, but the trend spans into this present time. A selfish man will continually say, I am the man of this house and get away with it. But the realization of his actions will down on him when another man carries out the same feat on his daughter in marriage. When you're feeling like a macho man or woman and exercising authority over someone else in marriage or relationship, remember you have one life to live. I was taking more of your calls, 0201 465 7190. 0201 465 7190. Barrister, you didn't, okay, maybe we're still getting there, but I think one of the key things that also play here is also money. Because that is why people do not live.
It's one of the 5 that I mentioned.
Yeah.
So it was number 5. So I dealt with tradition and children. We still have 3 months to go.
3 months to go.
Yes.
All right, let's take some of your calls. Hello, good morning. Please, when you call us, turn down the volume of your radio set. Hello, good morning. All right, you might just have to call us back. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, Mr. Mosley, go ahead, please. You have 1 minute.
Yes.
You know, when they talk about you, they say you are the one that cancels people or teach people about relationship or something like that. But what I want to tell you is that you're a wonderful man. About 3-4 months ago, people were saying you are a man of the year, man of the day. I'm telling you, you're a man of the century. Because you position my heart to lawyers. You know how this legal practitioner is. People now, if I seize them, I seize devil. If I have my way, I can even wipe them away from this planet. But every day I listen to your program, I say, can this be? Could this be? It would be a wonderful man. Now, if I see lawyers, I see friends, I see his wife, I see sister. Actually, they God bless you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
I appreciate it. Love you too, my brother. Yeah, no, she has. It took 2 more weeks to treat her heart condition before she was now finally. She's had the surgery. The surgery is complete. We are just owing money to have her discharged.
We'll be right back, Lagos. We're still here on Relationship 360 here on 99.3 Nigeria FM.
More right after this.
1-0.
1-0. Emma Binu, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Meltus. I got to play because you want 20K.
So now you want yourself 20,000.
Yes,
Okay, well done. I want to tell you, well done. You want yourself 20,000. With 500 naira, you can play to win big from 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. Go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. And in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw or dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Money Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunnyside and 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
Attention Lagos! On February 25th, Global Citizens Mode Africa is taking over the palms. This show is headlined by John Legend with performances by Nigeria's own Simi and DJ Consequence. Tickets are limited. Don't miss out. Purchase your ticket now at moveafrica.org. That's Africa with a K. Move Africa, February 25th at the Palms. Be there.
On Monday at 4 p.m., Chukwemeka David Obiamaisiwa against Michael Victor Chilecherim to debate the topic, increase in telecom tariff is unreasonable at this time. And at 5 p.m., Ifeolu Olaiya will fight out against Wago Olachifanesa in a war of words on the topic, single-use plastics should be outlawed. I beg to differ. The sharpest minds, the strongest voices, and the boldest thinkers only will survive this round. I beg to differ. The Tournament of Champions.
Hello, excuse me. This meal pack looks different. I'm seeing support energy release, BAM, on the pack. Is it the same Milo? No, this one is new and improved. The support energy release means when you give your kids Milo as part of breakfast, you are giving them energy they need to go to school. I like this one.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Hello, Lagos. Did you
know that you can earn big with Gift Card 8, Africa's leading gift card trading platform? You can sign up today and get 1,000 naira free using the invite code Y9A6P54. That is Y9A6P54 in all caps. With Gift Card 8, you can enjoy faster safe and secure transactions. The more you trade, the more you earn. Unlock up to 6% rebates at higher VIP levels plus daily bonuses. Visit www.giftcard8.com. That is www.giftcardemerald.com or download the app on Play Store or Apple Store and start earning today.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Lagos, welcome back. This is Relationship 360 here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And we're still taking some of your messages and more of your calls here on the radio station. We have Barcelona here about to read some messages.
Yes, I'm now on the control panel. This is a very interesting message. Good morning, I'm Lolade from Mota. My parents are not physically violent, but they are verbally abusive. They argue, and as at last night, my mom kicked my dad out of their bedroom. We've told them to divorce. Wow. We've told them to divorce. My father is a stingy man and emotionally abusive, and my mom is physically frustrated and exhausted, but she refuses to leave. She's working, but for whatever reason, she keeps staying and has to keep up with loans to sustain her 5 kids because my dad never has money in their 25 years of marriage. I'm exhausted. I hate it at home. There's no peace. It's always one complaint from my mom about my never changing dad or the other. Barrister, please tell them to divorce. None of my siblings like it at home either. They are both listening. Fantastic. I have warned that never marry a stingy man. And the problem I have with your mother is, why do you keep reproducing for a man who never has money to take care of the children? You are giving him more children when he has not taken care of the one he has already. 5 kids. Now you have to borrow, you have to use loan apps and all that to sustain. And the man never. Madam, for the sanity of your children, very soon your children would leave home if you refuse to leave home. Because I'm telling you, any boyfriend now would just that has a house, your daughters will leave and go and stay there. Your sons will leave because there is no peace. Find peace. If it is to go back to your father's house, go. There is nothing as emotionally frustrating as being with a stingy spouse, male or female. I wish you all the best. Children, please quickly grow and don't be like your father, if the story is true.
But Barrister, let's look at it from another direction. According to her, the family have 5 children. The family, they have 5 kids, and I would use that to try and place the age that they are possibly in their 40s, going to their 50s or 60s, maybe.
Okay, the age of the parent.
Yes.
If the mother is still working.
Yes. If the mother is still working, she's possibly in her 40s or 50s, and at that point in age, people usually look for companionship. They always want to have somebody, and I think that's also another reason why people at that certain age would not want to give in to divorce, regardless of the attitude of their partner.
It's her decision. It's her decision to stay, so she would suffer the consequences, whether you enjoy or whatever consequence, you're remaining there, and your children are giving you the clear picture. They hate it at home because it is always abusive and fighting. But you choose to remain in abuse, so probably, let me tell you what will happen to her. It's called BP. That is where it starts from. BP. Then she will start having psychosomatic illnesses. So it's a decision.
All right, we have another message here, but this time coming from YouTube. And this is a question Maureen Akwe Pius is asking. He said, but I want to ask, what if the man takes very good care of you, tries his best, but the problem is that he cheats a lot. Despite the fact of you being pregnant, he still goes out with other ladies and lies a lot. Is that really enough reason to leave the relationship?
So, some years ago, we had a case at the state CID. The woman caught HIV from her husband. The husband married her with HIV. He never said, but he was using retroviral drugs, but did not tell the wife. So the wife went into full-blown AIDS. While the husband was using, he told her they were multivitamins. When you are with a spouse that cheats a lot, you put yourself at risk of contracting diseases. But some people can take it. Some women will say, they're cheating. You know, they've trained them that my mother had already told me that, no man. So don't stress yourself. Some people can handle it. It's not a problem for some people. They already expect, if you don't even have, they think you have a problem. You don't have a girlfriend, you must have a problem. But if it is something you cannot take, that is where it is. Don't carry what you cannot take.
Okay, all right. We're still getting messages. We have this message here, say from Tony, and he says, "Barrister, marriage is all about intimacy, so couples should know their sexual strengths before agreeing to marry." That's from Tony.
That marriage is not about intimacy. You can get intimacy from anybody. You can get it. You can pay for it. That is not. It is a part of it. It's a big part of it, but it is not it. Because you can, if it is sexual intercourse, you can get it anywhere, everywhere. 1, 2, 3 people at the same time. Say, you can get it anywhere. So it's not so much about sex. It's more about companionship. Because there will be get the time that you are not able to perform.
Yes.
By the time you are in your 50s, it's no longer about sexual intercourse or sexual prowess. It is now about compatibility, and that is when you now find out when that time comes that you guys are not compatible, because that is when you would need your friendship to sustain.
This is from Oluwatosin. It says, "Thank you for all you do. Just heard one of the messages read on the show some minutes back. Set the record straight. In Islam, a woman can initiate divorce if she has genuine reasons to end the marriage. It is permissible for a woman to do so, unlike what someone said in earlier, saying a woman cannot initiate divorce no matter what. That is not correct."
I thought so, but I was thinking to ask. I have an imam who guides me on matters relating to Islam. I just wanted to go and ask him first. I don't think that is correct, because a woman can initiate. It doesn't have to be under Islamic law. You can initiate in a law court. It doesn't have to be under Islamic courts.
All right.
This person wants to remain anonymous. He says, "I was in a marriage which my ex would challenge me to see I know what you could do is to beat me. She stabbed me once close to my heart, and I quickly left the house to save my life."
So was that a wife or a girlfriend?
He didn't
Marriage,
say.
wife.
Did he say?
I
Oh,
was in a
marriage.
Okay, he was.
He left.
Ex-wife. He
Last week, a gentleman, this Valentine thing, the man stabbed the girl with this red butter knife in a very poor part of the neighborhood, like in the ghettos. It was people that came out.
Oh, I saw that video.
It
I
was
skipped
people
it,
that-
but I saw something like that.
It is terrible. You can stop being with violent people. I don't know where life relationship is more important than life. I wish you all the best.
Let's take some more calls here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Mr. Moses. when I heard Moses from Ikeja, I was like, Oh yeah, no vex. But thank you for calling.
is not about why they keep staying in abusive marriage. It's about why are they getting married? Just like you said now, and you say I do. What do people do in relationship? This is my question. When they are busy in relationship knocking each other, what are they doing? People don't know how to start each other anymore. People are just babies marrying each other. It's amazing. It's not about religion, it's not about wait. When will men or when will adults start becoming adults? When will adults start making decisions for themselves and not their mothers and fathers and family or society making decisions for them? See, these things you are saying are good, but they can't change a lost person. All these things you are talking about is nothing but orientation. What kind of orientation do what kind of orientation do majority have? Why are they marrying? Who are you marrying to? You should see traces. These days, you don't go and learn work 1 year again. They only give you basics. From the basic, you start retracing your...
Thank you very much, Oga Moses. Come, I never asked if you are married or single. Okay, I will hang out with you soon. All right, thanks for your insight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Hello, good morning. Sorry, you just have to call us back. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Pastor Ladipo, oh yeah, Pastor Ladipo, hit us one time.
Thank you for the things you are doing. We appreciate it. But I think we need to also do more advocacy on the stigmatization from the society. That when somebody leaves his marriage, everybody thinks that this person is no longer human being. And before you know what is happening, everybody begins to condemn that person. Even if some families, if the person tries to return, do you know what they will tell the person? I will say, no, go back to your husband. So we don't want this here, we don't want that here. We need to start a serious advocacy and let people know that any form of domestic violence, either emotional, sexual, or even physical abuse, it is not including religious abuse, because religiously people can be abused. When you don't allow people to think for themselves, religious.
Pastor Ladipo, you said we need to start. So we haven't started. Who needs to intensify? You are cuckoo part of us. You are cuckoo part of us at Aderomi Feludu. Oh yeah, give me a program. Give me a program for Aderomi Feludu. Not a problem. As you hear, you must share. Thank you very much, Pastor Ladipo. So thank you. Okay, let's just pick one more call so I round up.
Yes, so we're taking our last calls on the program. Numbers to call 0201-465-7190. 0201-465-7190. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, Charles, go ahead, please.
Oh, continue to bless and people. So my question is this: I have two points. My first point is, I have a kind of experience that my wife is just too lousy, like a trumpet of war. And when she's talking, she even if the kids are there, she'll be talking. Even if they're within the neighborhood, she'll be talking, and everyone will not be hearing her voice, trying to make the man look like you are the one bringing the pain. Then again, in the office, maybe in her own shop, she was just talking. Whenever I try to correct her, she needs correction. Number one, number two. So I want to know how to handle that case. That's one. The another point is, why is polygamous marriage, married man living longer than
monogamous married man.
You need to ask a scientist for that one. Let me, you go to a social scientist or behavioral scientist. For the first one, you said your wife is lousy as a trumpet of war. How long did you date her before you married her? So you didn't hear her voice before you married her? No. If someone is lousy, the lousiness is like an attire. It's something you see. If someone is not, except she was mute, she never spoke throughout 6 months. So you didn't, Ogami, you went to bring her into your house. And you want to tell me, when you said like a trumpet of war, my earphones almost fell off. So, okay, so what is the problem now? Yes, she doesn't listen to you, she doesn't take to correction. Well, Olga, you are the one that went to marry her. The issue is, if it has now become so terrible that you cannot bear it, you can now seek for something else in court. But as long as, how is it possible that you dated somebody and
can we advise counseling at this very point?
Counseling to who?
To the wife, possibly, or both of them.
Have you told your family? Have you told her own family when you said that is how her mother talks? That's why I kept quiet. So obviously that is what you did. You did not close one eye, both eyes and ear. You closed everything. Be serious doing it. It is well. I wish you all the best, sir. I would send Emmanuel's number to you. Thank you very much, sir. So I have to round up now. No, don't have time. Yes, somebody carries me into his program. Last week Saturday, I was at Harvester City Church. It was an amazing time for those of you that came. I want to appreciate you and all what you saw. I appreciate the management of the church. It was really a church that wanted to learn. They wanted to hear something different. And I appreciate it. It was a fantastic time there. My attention was drawn to a publication by ArmyLoadedNews.com by one Thomas Abidoye. He put out a publication in my name and put that I said how my ex-wife beat the hell out of me. That is the caption of what he put, and said that was my story. ArmyLoadedNews.com by Thomas Abidoye. He said, he put a publication, how my ex-wife beat the hell out of me, and then put my video here on Nigeria Info. He said, first of all, I don't have an ex-wife. I've only been married once. And I don't know, they beat the hell out of me. Maybe you said that to gain traction. First of all, I was a policeman that called me that my story is on the police platform. Then I got a call from my secondary school alumni group. They shared it there. And at times the whole world is hearing stories that you do. And I read it and I had to put that. I don't know what this guy is talking about. But I think at this time I'm going to sue him. Because you don't put out a publication without even asking. You put out my name to what? Get people to read your article. It was very reckless, Mr. Thomas Abidoye. I assume that you listen to Nigeria Info because you put my picture in Nigeria Info right here on that story, and you will claim that you were quoting me. I don't know where you got that, but I don't think you will do that again when I'm done. About 4 days ago, very late at night, I got a call from a gentleman, and in Ojo, and he said something is happening, that there is this 14-year-old girl who is 9 months pregnant and was impregnated by her stepfather, and her mother was into it, that the mother and the stepfather planned the whole thing so that when she gives birth, they will sell the child. I said, is it her biological mother? She said, yes. And that they beat her even with the 9 months pregnancy. I was just like 14 years old. She said, yes. And that they talked to the girl. The man had been sleeping with her since she was 11. So the very following morning, we had some of our people, some of our volunteers in Ojo stormed the place, got this girl. She was even sleeping at the junction of the bus stop with her 2 siblings. That stepfather and her mother have 2 children together, but she is the man's step. So by the time we got there, someone had already gone to report that night, late at night, and the police men from Okomaiko police station, the family support unit, had come to arrest the man. So we now took the victim to Okomaiko police station, FSU. What my people experienced there was terrible. It was so terrible that I had to go to get the commissioner of police to call that station. And we maintained until the right thing was done. We had the case now transferred to Ikeja. Thank God for police officers who are diligent in their job. What I wanted to do this morning was to call one of our representatives, a volunteer who was there. We had about 4 or 5 people eventually, but the first one that got there took the victim. He was even told to leave the police station. He was told by this police officer, one of the female police officers there, to leave. Meanwhile, we were the ones that brought that we shouldn't talk to the girl, we should leave the station. Why? Because he was asking questions on what to do. I wanted to put an indictment on the FSU there, and they are all female officers. There's one inspector I spoke with. He was nice until this certain person came, and they now had to get a call from the police officer, from the commissioner, to transfer the case out of there. If this is how cases are done in that FSU, then we have a problem. I don't care whose axe is God. But if that is the way, you saw the scan showed that he was past delivery date. That means she could have delivered at that police station at that time. We are looking for a care home to put her in conjunction with the police. She's overdue. The man has been arrested. I'm sure that the mother, and she mentioned another person who also defiled her as well. It is well. You need to join us because something might just be happening right in your neighborhood that you should speak up against. You need to support us because it is very serious. Thank you for those of us that remember the story of Gift. Gift's mother's surgery was successful and she has been discharged, but she's still held in Enugu Orthopedic Hospital because we are to balance about 500,000. We spent almost 3 million naira on both Gift and her mother. And, there is no, I told you we don't have major sponsors, all those things we don't have. We just try to raise money. And we need about 500,000 for her removal from the hospital, her clearance from the hospital. So please remember us if you would like to help us. Please reach out to me. My phone number is 0909 3214 942. If you remember, she was the one whose husband beat her and fractured her spinal cord. She could no longer walk. Her spinal cord was fractured, and the man kept her locked up for 2 years, crawling on the floor because of the fractured spinal cord. We came in, we rescued her and the children, and we tried to get her surgery, which is now successful, but we are owing. How many minutes do I have? 1 minute. So there will be a training coming up in March on domestic violence and abuse, child abuse, which I will be conducting for members of the LOSIS Volunteer Network, that is people, volunteers on my team. But I've been told to make it open. It would be for those who want, well, fancy, they call themselves counselors and all that. There are things you do, maybe you should know. It is not free, but if you succeed training with me, then I will hand you a certificate. It will be coming in March. We'll give further details. For those that might want to reach out to me, please reach out to me on 0909 3214 942. 0909 3214 942. Said I'm speaking too fast. Last one, 0909 3214 942 for calls and WhatsApp. God bless you, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of Relationship 360 today. Again, Barrister Olumide has shared his contact. Please reach out to him. Do not hesitate at all. Reach out to him for any advice or any counseling that you might need. He is, the person at the forefront of this. He will give you all the recommended advice, both legally and also as regards to your marital issues. Thank you so much, wonderful. Thank you for being a part of the program today. Trust you had a great time.
Yes, I did. I learned a lot.
That's great. That's great. Up next is the Discuss with Jimmy Disu, who's right here in the studio. Lagos, don't go nowhere. We'll be back shortly after this break.